Welcome back to State of the Frogs with your 5-3 head coach Sonny Dykes. Coach, congratulations! Big win at Tech. 17 points down at one point in the second half. Rebounded and we came out ahead, 35-34.
Yeah, it was an interesting game. Game of, I wouldn't say two halves, game of two quarters or four quarters really. It was got off to a great start, went up 14-3, and then had a kind of a lull there. Tech scored 28 unanswered, and then we were able to close the game out, scoring 21. So it was what we needed to do to have a chance to win. Loved the way we came out and took it to them early in the game. We had a couple of big plays early on. Savion had a nice touchdown run and then had a big touchdown reception to kind of get us off to a fast start. And then really the last three possessions of the game, we really moved the ball well and were able to score points. But the big thing that allowed us to come back was getting those key stops defensively. We had to hold them to a field goal there to stay within three possessions, and we were able to do it. And I thought the offense and defense all kind of complemented each other. And when we do that, we have a chance to have a good football team. And the key for us now is to try to play that way for four quarters and just keep improving and keep getting better. But again, love the way our guys finished. It took a lot of heart and character to do that. And you don't win a game like that if you don't have kids that care about each other and want to keep battling.
Absolutely. And here we sit with the West Texas Championship Saddle Trophy, the very coveted Saddle Trophy.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool thing. Yeah, great tradition. Didn't know we had the stand. It's pretty cool. Like it. We had some fun with the saddle in the locker room after the game. And so that's what makes college football fun, man. You have rivalries like this, and we have one coming up this weekend with Baylor as well. And these games mean a lot to our fans, and it's important for our players to win these games. So feels good to have this thing back, and hopefully we'll keep it here for a while.
How would you describe the post-game celebratory singing in the locker room? Is it possible to do that for us?
Yeah. It's no singing for me, but it's fun. I mean, the guys put a lot into that game, put a lot into preparation for that game, and when they were able to overcome kind of the adversity that we did, they were excited and felt good about it. I think we all did. I think we all celebrated a little bit, enjoyed it, and then showed up to work on Sunday ready to focus on Baylor.
You mentioned Savion's 35-yard rushing touchdown and a 75-yard receiving touchdown. Can we dig into that a little bit? What is that formation called that you run with him? Is that something?
Yeah, we just call it Frog. So it's so it's a little personnel grouping where we put him in the backfield and can do a variety of different things with him. Sometimes he'll we'll direct snap it to him. Sometimes we'll play him as a running back like we did on the play where we threw him the ball. And so the great thing about it is, he's really talented, and you want to try to find creative ways to get him the football and let him do what he can do. And so, he can hand it off, he can throw it if he had to, he can obviously run with it, and then you can use him as a receiver coming out of the backfield as well. So it's a package that's been good to us the last couple of weeks, something we'll continue to build on a little bit. It's like anything else. We can't rely on that all the time. We've got to be able to do a good job running the football. But it's a great change-up for us. It creates some good matchups, and we got some big plays out of it.
For sure. And your quarterback, Josh Hoover, 344 yards and 3 touchdowns, was the Manning Award Week winner for his performance.
Yeah. Thought Josh played well. Really do. I think the thing that's kind of plagued us at times this year is we turned the ball over. But I think, beyond that, I thought he really did a good job of hanging in there. Thought Kendall Browse did a good job as well. Because, once you get started as fast as we did and then you hit a lull, sometimes it's hard to get that mojo back. And to Kendall and our offensive staff's credit, those guys just kept plugging away and stayed positive, and our players, I think, fed off of their positive energy, and were able to make those plays in the second half.
There's a story that's kind of circulating amongst us diehards. Eric McAllister was bugging Coach Kelly for a ball to be caught into the game, and obviously goes for 84 and the game-winning touchdown, which is kind of interesting. But
Eric's been a big play guy for us. Really the last 3 weeks. I think he's got 3 catches, and all of them were big. He had the 2 vertical catches against Utah that both of them set up touchdowns for us, and then obviously had the big touchdown in this game. He's got a way of making big plays, when in big situations. We needed a big play to happen in the Kansas game, and he made that big play, that catch and run in that game as well. So Eric, I think right now leads the nation in yards per catch, and so he's been really, really efficient when we throw him the football, and we got to continue to do that.
And great guy as well. Did at halftime adjustments? Could we ask what was said or done at halftime that caused?
Well, it wasn't real good in the third quarter.
Right.
So we kind of came out and gave up a couple of drives in the third quarter and sputtered offensively, but But as I said earlier, I think that the biggest thing was, defensively we just kept playing, and sometimes that's hard to do when the offense is struggling to make yards, and those guys really just kept playing, held them to some field goals when we needed to. Did a good job at the end of the game when they were driving down to try to kick a game-winning field goal, created a turnover right there. And so, to me, it was our best job in the fourth quarter there of, getting critical stops on defense, and then the offense taking the football and scoring with it. And so, we had a big first down right there, the last possession. Savion had a run on first down that burned another 40 seconds off the clock. Texas Tech was going to use their timeouts to try to get the ball back, and that was a big first down because that cost them 40 seconds. And then defensively, we got to stop at the end and did a really good job finishing the game off. So like where we're headed, like I said, I'd love for us to play, 4 quarters of really, really good football, which I don't think we've done so far this season, but hopefully we'll do it this week.
Did head coach Joe McGuire have anything to offer after the game?
No, Joe was real complimentary. I mean, it was a hard-fought game. I thought both teams played well, and it really just came down to 1 or 2 plays, which is what we told our players all week it was probably going to do. I mean, it's 2 pretty evenly matched teams. I think this week will be kind of the same situation when we go play Baylor. They're a team that's really playing well, and they're hot right now, playing with a lot of confidence. And these games in the Big 12, most of them are one-possession games, and you better find a way in critical situations to make plays, and we did that. We got the turnover. We got the big play to McAllister. But again, there's a lot of things that led to those plays.
Right. And before we turn the page to Baylor, given your history with your father and your coaching at Tech, and then I wanted to ask you about your Mike Leach years. Is anything, people asked us about the Mike Leach years with you involved? Anything you can share with us?
Yeah, we had a great time. I mean, it was a really fun time to be there with a lot of really good coaches. Dave Aranda was part of the staff, and obviously Dana Holgerson, and Cliff Kingsbury and Sonny Cumbie, and all these guys were players, and Graham Harrell, Lincoln Riley was on the staff. So we had a bunch of really good coaches. Bill Bedenbow is the line coach at Oklahoma, Seth Luttrell. Really, really successful guys, a lot of smart coaches. Just a fun time to coach there. We were kind of, I think, a little bit ahead of the curve at college football at the time, and it was a fun place to coach, and Mike was awesome. Mike gave us all a lot of responsibility, when we were young coaches, and let us learn, and I think we all grew as from that opportunity.
It's an amazing collection of coaches, as you just mentioned, so I appreciate you detailing that a little bit. We'll be right back with the State of the Frogs with your head coach, Sonny Dykes, with our student question of the week.
What do you see when you look up at the clouds? At Richard's Rainwater, we see the greatest source of pure, delicious water looking right back down at us. We've invented a simple, powerful technology to collect and bottle rainwater. Our process begins with the rain. When clouds become saturated, droplets fall from the sky. Rainfall is a naturally cleansing event. During the first few minutes, the raindrops clean the atmosphere and wash away any dirt or debris from surface areas. At this cleanest point in the rain cycle, we collect the pure raindrops into large storage vessels. Then, we use a simple, yet effective combination of ozone and microfiltration to ensure our rainwater surpasses the highest drinking water standards. We pour the pure, refreshing rainwater into glass bottles and aluminum cans, packaging as infinitely renewable as the water itself. Richard's Rainwater is building a network of collection systems across the country to ensure our rainwater is local everywhere. The purest, best-tasting water comes from the sky. Richard's Rainwater, sip the sky.
Welcome back to State of the Frogs with your head coach, Sonny Dykes. Mallory, James Mahoney is going to take us to Krista with today's student question of the week.
Thanks, JW. Hey there, Sonny. It was a great win this weekend. I am here with our student question of the week. I'm here with Krista. She is a musical theater major from New Jersey.
Hi, I was wondering if you had any rules or restrictions for the athletes using scooters on campus.
Krista, good question. Man, I don't like scooters. Our players ride them around all the time. Try to encourage the guys to not ride them, or if they do, to ride them slowly. It just seems to be that everybody's doing it, and so we allow them to ride scooters, even though we don't particularly like it. But they need to be careful. They got to be slow when they ride them, and those things can be dangerous. I've seen some pretty gnarly crashes through the years, and have seen some stuff that is not good. So we encourage them often to be careful on those things, but We haven't banned them,
No
even though we've thought about it.
No rules and mandated though, right? Just
No,
be careful.
not yet. Just try to be careful and be smart.
Good. It's a good way to get around for sure. So thank you, Krista, for the question, and Mallory James Mahoney for setting that up. We'll be right back with a little new bit for our show. We'll speak to Dave Roberson, a little recruiting update for the TCU Horned Frogs on Save the Frogs with your head coach, Sonny Dykes.
Energy does everything for us. It's all-encompassing.
We're all benefiting and affected from it.
And it is something that we all need to know about.
It is the glue that holds everything together.
TCU is powering what matters, our future.
We don't just talk about what's needed, we focus on results.
The Ralph Lowe Energy Institute is creating a world where energy is affordable, sustainable, and reliable.
Welcome back to State of the Frogs with your head coach, Sonny Dykes. Thank you, Mallory James Mahoney, for the Student Question Week from Krista. Coach, we have Dave Roberson here, TCU recruiting coordinator. Coach,
Thanks for having me.
For sure. Any scooter stories you can share with us before we move on to recruiting?
Well, there was one of our players that was kind of flying by one morning. I was coming in, couldn't really tell who it was. I know he was just a big creature. And then I figured it out because he was going the same speed I was going. And I got alongside of him. I said, slow down. Yeah. But that was the only scooter story I got.
Good. Well, thank you for being here. You handle the recruiting coordinating episode, or all the stuff for TCU's football team.
Yes.
You have a pretty cool story, a background story. You've come from several cool places. You worked under Joe Paterno back in the day, yes?
I worked under Joe Paterno back in the day, learned a lot of good stuff from him about just getting good quality kids in your program. Doesn't have to be the most talented kid.
Right.
But if you get the right type of kid, then he can be the most talented kid in the room.
Very good. So this past week at Texas Tech, TCU, we saw a bunch of kids on the sideline before the game and in the stands. You were hosting a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
Anything you can share about the event?
Well, it was one of our biggest turnouts of the year as for recruits, some of the most talented kids. And some of the biggest thing that we were able to do is the crowd was amazing. All the alumni that came back were like telling those kids, hey, choose TCU. So it was electric, man. I want to say thank you for everyone that helped in that.
For sure. Not to ask a dumb question, but when recruits come to a game like that and there's a winner and a loser, does the win or the loss affect the recruit's decision at the time, or is it much deeper than that?
It's much deeper than that. I think the win helps, but you can always overcome a loss as long as you have the right type of kid, the right type of family, and you're selling yourself.
Okay. On a given year or given week, how many kids are you in contact with as far as recruiting is concerned?
Okay, so like tonight I'll make anywhere from 10 to 15 phone calls. Last night I did the same thing, and I'll do that all the way up till Thursday. Coach Dykes will do anywhere from, I'll say, 20 to 40 phone calls through the course of a week, and our coaches will do the same. So I want to say through the course of a week, we're probably talking to roughly 200 to 300 kids. Either by phone, text message, or DM.
What's the preferred method for you and the kids?
Preferred method for me is a call.
Phone call?
Yeah, I want to hear your voice. I want you to hear my voice. I want to have meaningful conversations with you. What that does is counts down how many people I can contact at night.
Right.
But I also want to have good quality conversations with you. And if your parents are around you, I want to have a conversation with them also.
Beautiful. Do you have a time limit to speak to these guys?
No,
you could talk all night if the kid wants to talk?
I talked to a kid the other day. I thought it was going to be like a 2-minute conversation. And then we ended up talking about fried chicken. And it ended up being a 45-minute conversation. He taught me some things.
Fair to say this kid is interested in coming here?
Yes.
Very good. That's good to hear. So let's talk about TCU's overall strategy recruiting-wise. What are our needs? What are you looking for most?
Well, we have needs in every position, you know. So what we're looking for most, though, is a good quality kid that wants to be developed and really values a degree. So that's what we're looking for most. So I understand you want me to say offensive line or defensive line, tight end, receiver.
But it's everywhere.
It's everywhere. But
Okay.
that's what we need. But we need good quality kids that prefer to get a degree
And I
and
imagine
want to be developed.
I imagine the phone call with the kid and his parents, that's a big help to determine the kid's the character of this kid.
A lot of times you can have those conversations with the kid and the parents, and if the dad or the mom gets on the phone and the first thing they're talking about is money, then 9 times out of 10 that kid is probably not for you. But I know this day and age that money is a real thing, and so you do have to have those conversations at times.
Is it
now? I don't have those conversations.
Sure.
But those are conversations that are had.
Sure. If I may ask, Coach, how do you handle it if a guy says, if he's a huge recruit and wants to talk about money, how do you just defer that to?
Just like I just said, I don't have those conversations.
Right.
I'm here just to talk about you, to actually let you know about our program, and let you know there's a need for you here.
Fair. How difficult is it a job to do what you do with all these kids and all the intricacies of social media, phone calls? How difficult a job is it?
It's not really that hard. It can be a lot, but as long as you can manage it well. Like, I have a great young staff, and they are all over social media. So as soon as a kid does anything, says anything, social media, they know about it. They alert me, and actually, a couple of them have good relationships with those kids already, where they can reach out to the kid and say, "Hey, I saw you did this. Great job." So, and social media is helping us out tremendously too. Like, a kid has a good game, it gets posted on social media. I don't have to wait till Sunday after our game to figure out, hey, when I go through his stats,
right,
he had a really good game. No, I know instantly that he had a really good game. So we're able to get things in place, like let's get a phone call to him, say congratulations, or even if there's an injury, we can know those things right away through social media.
It's fair to say these kids, though, when something bad gets posted, that's a detriment to their recruiting for you and others as well. So you want manage that to make sure this kid does in fact have good character, correct?
Yes. I mean, social media will tell you a lot about a kid. Yeah. So
let's talk about recruiting high school kids, and now you have to manage college transfer kids, right? Is there a ratio of college to high school that you have to look after?
No, I think that one of the things that is appealing about this program for a personnel guy or recruiting guy like myself is that coach wants to build this thing from the ground up, build his locker room up, and the only way you can really truly do that is you got to get guys in your locker room that are fully invested in being here at TCU. So you take high school guys, and then you plug and play transfer portal kids if you need them.
Right.
So you want to bring kids in, develop them, let them become TCU guys, and then you bring those guys in that maybe you lost I don't want to say offensive tackle or something like that. So you got to bring a guy in, and with all the guys inside the locker room, they can show him the TCU way.
How difficult, I mean, given the high school development process, and you could hopefully bring in a transfer and solve a problem instantly, is it probable that you could bring in an all transfer team, or would that ever be on the table? Would you always have to have some new guys?
Really, with the formula that Coach has in place, I don't really see that ever happening for us. So I just don't see that happening for us. We're going to always take a large quantity of high school kids because we got great football in this area, and the whole state of Texas is great football. So we're going to stay here at home and then work outside of it.
Fair. I think this is a question that I know the answer to, but for those who don't, the transfer process, how do you become aware that so-and-so at certain team is now in the transfer portal? How does that hit your desk?
So there's two different databases that allow you to know instantly as soon as the guy gets inside the portal. You can also look at the NCAA website. They update it every, I want to say, 4 to 6 hours. But you can find out that way. But our guys like Jeff and Tyler, they're the director of player personnel, our AD for player personnel, those guys do a hell of a job of finding those guys right away, and then alerting us, and then getting in front of the coaches, and then the coaches say yay or nay as far as we need to go get them. And if we need to go get them, then we reach out, find out about the kid. First we probably start with a coach, high school coach, or even might know a coach at that college, and say, hey, can you tell me about this kid? And then once we find out about the kid, then if somebody want to go on, the next thing that I want to do is I want to talk to their parents.
Fair.
So see where they are mentally. And if they're not involved in the situation, then I got to just talk to the young man.
What's the craziest recruiting story that you've ever been part of, if you can even share? Is there something that stands out?
Yeah, it's the one I've always so it was 2014. We were recruiting a kid. I was at Arkansas State, and we were recruiting a kid out of Florida. And I was with a couple of coaches that a lot of people should know in this I mean, a lot of people know. But we go to the house, and the mom is making Kool-Aid. And the kitchen smells really good. I'm pretty sure there's some good fried chicken in there. I think it was collard greens, but she was making Kool-Aid, and I saw one package of sugar go in that thing, okay? And I mean like a whole bag of sugar going to Kool-Aid. And the next thing you know, I see her hand turning, but there's no spoon. She's mixing up the Kool-Aid with her hand. Kool-Aid and sugar with her hand. And
That
so
is great.
me and the assistant coach, we see this, okay? And the head coach at the time did not see this. And he drank it. We did not.
Understood.
Yeah, so that was the most ridiculous recruiting story I have so far.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
You have a number of commits to the program already. We won't name names, but you have a pretty solid, and it's ranked fairly high. You have work to do, I assume.
Yes, we have work to do.
These kids that are committed, it's not locked in stone, right?
Not until December 4th.
So you stay on them until signing day.
Until signing day, and then, I mean, you don't ever want to just recruit the kid to come here, and then as soon as they sign, you let them go. You still got to keep showing them love even after that. Until they get here on campus, then you continue to show them love. Because the transfer portal is real. So you got to recruit the recruits. So
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
How has your time at TCU been so far?
It's been great. It's been unbelievable, honestly. I was telling my wife the other day, it's like one of my older coaches was one of my mentors. He was, dude, don't ever leave. It's one of the best places to ever coach.
That's great to
To
hear.
ever work. Like, it's a diamond in the rough, and he's never worked here. He wants to work here, but he just knows this from all the coaches in the industry that this is a great place to work. So,
Absolutely.
and I've had a few buddies that have worked here that has always been like, it's an awesome job.
Right.
And now I get to know that it's an awesome job.
Right.
I mean, from the administration all the way down to the janitors, everybody just does their job and does it at a high level, and it's awesome.
Good to hear.
So.
All these kids that are reaching out to you and vice versa, how many kids on average would you say that aren't quite up to the speed of TCU that just want to get in or get on our list or something? Is there a lot of kids that reach out to you that aren't the right fit?
Yeah, they either reach out to me by email or DM, something like that. It's not a lot of guys that actually have my cell phone number. They call me, but that's my preferred method of contact is by calling me on my cell or sending me a text message. I mean, I would say roughly about 50 kids a day.
50 kids a day.
And I would say less than 1% of those kids will actually, take a snap here at TCU.
Understood.
Yeah, so.
As competitive as it is with other schools in the Big 12, do you share a friendship with other recruiting coordinators because you're all after the same guy? I assume you meet in the same home, you meet in the same place, you're talking to the same kid.
Yeah.
Do you develop relationships in that capacity?
Yeah, so I have, I've been in it 23 years. So I have a lot of connections with guys in the Big 12 and the Big 10 and the SEC. And, to be honest, it gets to the point where we're all helping each other out. It's not even a competitive thing or anything like that. It's just, hey, so this kid's not going to come to you. Do you mind steering him my way? And so I actually made a phone call like that yesterday.
Right.
And it was pretty easy. He said, yeah, I got you. We're not taking him, but I'll steer him your way.
I love it.
Yeah, so.
Well, Coach Roberson, I appreciate the time. Before we go, any favorite Joe Paterno stories or memories you could share with us? One before we get out of here?
Well, so my first day on staff, the staff meeting was at 10 o'clock. And it was every day, 10 o'clock, 10:01. It was weird because usually I'm staff meetings at 7 o'clock in the morning. It was the first time, and until then it was like 10 o'clock, 10:01. But he's sitting in the room, and we walk into the room, and we all had to wear a shirt and tie. All right, but I didn't know that he's never going to get up out of the seat. He's not going to walk around and look. So I'm in suit and tie, okay? Everybody else on the coaching staff is in shirt and tie, gym shorts underneath. So I didn't know that was the thing. So, but he says, he's like, guys, who's the fastest guy on our team? And at the time we had a Mike linebacker named Mike Motti. He ran like a 4.3, and his dad had played there and everything like that. So we said Mike Motti's the fastest guy on the team. Let's put him at free safety. He's the Mike linebacker. He's been a starting Mike linebacker for 3 years, coach. It's like, we need faster guys out there playing free safety. So he's asked for that. It never happened. I don't think he actually knew it didn't happen. But yeah, so he asked for that. But I would say it was actually, because I've always been an admirer of the program, and a lot of my buddies had coached there. That's how I ended up there. And we had a bye week, and I was coaching at a Division II school in Cleveland, Ohio. So I had went down for a game, and I'm like on the sideline because all my buddies are there and everything. And I just heard him say, "We got to get the ball to the tight end. We got to get the ball to the tight end." And they called the play to the tight end, touchdown. And I was like, dude. And fast forward into I'm actually working there. And we're playing against Temple, and we're down by like 3, and it's like 34 seconds on the game clock, and it's 4th and 18, I think. The game's over. Temple's won. Like everybody's in Vegas is happy right now, and he said, and we're on like the 23-yard line. He says, "I don't care how we do it, just get the ball to the tight end." We throw 82X in, which was actually the play that he said, get the ball to the tight end, which is actually the play that they called. He said, get the ball to the tight end twice, 82X in, and it scored a touchdown to win us the game.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, the dude was smart. He knew the ball.
Very good. Well, Coach Dave Roberson, thank you for being here.
I appreciate
joining us
you
on the
guys.
show. Yeah, for sure. That's been an update on TCU football recruiting with TCU football recruiting coordinator Dave Roberson. That was TCU football recruiting coordinator Dave Roberson. Thank you for the update, Coach. Let's go right back to head coach Sonny Dykes with Baylor talk.
Welcome to the Squire Shop.
We are locally owned and operated since 1994.
We specialize in the finest men's clothing that the market has to offer at affordable prices with unbelievable service.
We do custom clothing all the way to more casual, Peter Millar, Johnny O, kind of everything. Well, my dad's the owner, so I've been around retail my whole life. Oh, it's great. I mean, it's the best boss I'll ever have. I know that.
We love our TCU community. They have been so good to us. Come see us today. Go Frogs!
Welcome back to State of the Frogs with your head coach, Sonny Dykes. Thank you, Dave Roberson, for the recruiting update. We appreciate that. We're back, Coach, with the Bluebonnet battle, the infamous shield that's come to be popular these days. Coach, it's Baylor week, everybody's favorite team to hate around here. Baylor, two losses in a row now. We're going to Waco, 7 p.m. Saturday night. They're having a blackout, I hear. They're pretty excited.
Yep. Good team. Yeah, so we're going to face a good Baylor team that's kind of hot right now. You go and you look at, their last 5 games. They get off to a little bit of a slow start in the conference. They, lost on the road against Iowa State, on the road against Colorado. We're in both of those games late in the games, and and Iowa State's one of the 2 undefeated teams, and they really played well in that game. Had Colorado beat. Colorado had to throw a Hail Mary to send the game in overtime and cause a Baylor fumble in order to win that game, and then really played well against BYU at home. Same thing late in the second half. They were right there with BYU. Then after that, they go to Texas Tech and they get on a run. They scored 59 points and blew Tech out, and then really played well this past week against Oklahoma State. So we're playing a team that's got a lot of confidence. That's really kind of hot right now, and they're playing well on offense, playing well on defense, and they're one of the best teams in the country on special teams. And so they are a formidable opponent, and as I said, really hitting their stride as a football team.
Right. Their quarterback, Sawyer Robertson, a Mississippi State transfer, playing some pretty decent football.
Yeah, I've known Sawyer's dad and family for a long time. We actually recruited Sawyer as a potential transfer and left Mississippi State here. Felt like he had a chance to get on the field a little bit more quickly at Baylor, and it's worked out for him. He's a great kid, really hard worker, is a good athlete, has done a nice job running their offense, incredibly efficient, has only turned the ball over 4 times all year. Has done a really good job of that. He's also starting to run the ball, and they've been effective when he runs, and so he can scramble and convert some big third downs. They've run him a little bit on some design runs, and he's done a good job doing that, and has managed the football team really well, and I think that's a big part of the reason they're having so much success.
Right. One of our favorite guys on this show and on Frogs Today, Drake Dabney, the Baylor transfer tight end to on your team. Has Drake had any additions for this?
Yeah, they got a new coordinator, so it's a little bit different than what Drake was playing in at that time at Baylor. But Jake Spavital, their offensive coordinator, I've worked with Jake before. Really good football coach. does a good job utilizing their personnel. The big thing that they've done the last 2 weeks is run the football. They've run for right around 600 yards in the last 2 games. And so they're really starting to get the run game going. A lot of different running backs, 3 or 4 guys that they'll play at that position. They're all different and kind of unique in their skill set. Very impressed with their offensive line. And then when they throw the football, they've been very efficient throwing it. Sawyer right now is in the top 10 in the country in passing efficiency at the quarterback position. And so they're doing some really good things.
Right. And you mentioned him already, but you've got a long history with Dave Aranda. Can you speak about Dave a little bit more?
Yeah, I've known Dave since he was a young coach. He was as a graduate assistant on the staff at Texas Tech when I was there as a receiver coach, and got to know Dave and really have a lot of respect for him. Really bright mind. Really cerebral guy that does a nice job. He's running the defense now. They're going to be well versed defensively. Going to show you a lot of different looks. Going to do a lot of different things to attack you, simulated pressure. They're going to really come after you on third down. They'll bring 4 to a side, find some creative ways to do it. But the thing that they do that I'm really impressed with is when they play aggressive, they also minimize risk. They don't give up a lot of big plays.
Right.
They do a nice job keeping the ball in front of them, tackling. Very sound defensive scheme, and as I said, playing with a ton of confidence.
I know this isn't something that probably matters to you much, but we're on a 4-game win streak against Baylor, and 8 of the last 9 TCU's defeated Baylor. Going back to the scene of the bazooka kick a couple years ago, the hypno-toad, what do we call it? The hypno-toad hurry, as we call it in the layperson's terms. But going back to the scene of the crime, it's got to be exciting for some of these guys.
Yeah, and I think that just shows, how big of a game this is. Baylor probably didn't have a great team in 22, and we had a pretty good one. And, we went up there and had to fight and scratch to get a win. And so, our guys know Baylor's going to be excited. It's a big game for them. As you said, TCU's had a lot of success against them recently, and their players are going to be hungry and are going to be playing very confident, I'm sure. So we're going to have to go and play some of our best football to have a chance to win this football game. And so I'm excited about it. I think our players are looking forward to the challenge. I think they know they better be well prepared because they can turn the film on and you can see that Baylor's got a good team.
Right. And I know you're not one to look ahead right now, especially, but we're 1 game from bowl eligibility, and everybody seems to suggest it's going to happen at some point or another. This is obviously exciting for a lot of us fandom.
Yeah.
But
I think the big thing for us is just kind of keep on keeping on. I think we've been able to win some hard-fought games here the last couple of weeks, and I think the reason we have is our guys have just focused on the task at hand and not looking too far down the road. So, we need to go prepare well this week, play our best game on Saturday, and like anything else, kind of see where that takes us.
Absolutely. And before we go, Coach, we're 7 days from an election everybody's been talking about. Any political thoughts before we get out of here?
No. I'm the least political person in the world. It's during football season, so don't put a whole lot of time or thought into it. Probably should be a better citizen than I am, but I'm just trying to coach football and hold the family together.
Well played, Coach. Well played. Well, we'll see you guys 7 p.m. in Waco, Texas. TCU Baylor, 7 p.m. Thanks, Coach. This has been your State of the Frogs with your head coach, Sonny Dykes. Until next time.
Roxo Media House.